welcome to this week's Cats Whiskers TV. On this week's show, we'll be looking back on Panthers against Belfast. We'll also be reviewing all the other Elite League games from this weekend. Our hot topic this week is Elite League webcasts. Are they worth the money or are they good value? We'll be reading out some of your tweets to see what you have to say. And of course, as always, we'll be looking forward to the games that are coming up this weekend. But first, after the game on Saturday night, Panthers Belfast, I caught up with our old mate, Patrick Smyth, from A View from the Bridge. Delighted to say I've been joined by Patrick Smyth from Patrick Smyth. I always, every time.
Every single time.
But that's in the drinking game, so they'll be drinking shots of Jaeger right now. Sorry, Patrick Smyth from A View from the Bridge. Good to see you, mate.
Good to see you too. Delighted to see me. Well, I suppose after the win, it's a bit much, but no, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back.
So, we've just been having a chat in the pub. That was a strange game tonight.
Yeah, some really, really good goals in that game. I thought it was a pretty two even sides on the whole. After the start, after that first period, I thought we were going to run away with it, to be honest. I thought we were absolutely bossing the game, dominant. And after the Higgins goal, we were dominant for like the last 10 minutes of that period.
Yeah.
And I thought, so much pressure on. But then, credit to the Nottingham Panthers, came right back in that second period and came right back at us and took... I'd say a deserved win. If it went the overtime, we both got a point. I thought that would have been deserved. But hey, caught us on, Matt Francis caught us sleeping after the Garside goal, and that's the game. You know what I mean? It's disappointing. We give up a goal like that last week. Nathan Moon for the Braehead Clan caught us napping after a Shields goal, and we got done again. And this time it cost us.
You've spoken to Paul Adey after the game. You've interviewed him for the Giants. What was his reaction?
He was disappointed that we didn't get enough 5-on-5 action. He thought that 5-on-5 we were a stronger team. Maybe at a point, I don't know. I think that you've got to be disappointed giving up a goal like that. And it's going to be very disappointing for going up the hole, trying to get back after a goal like that. Overall, Eddie, he's positive. He's got to be positive going forward. It's very difficult to read Paul Adey. He sort of just goes totally just like deadpan, and just like he knows what to say, he knows how to say it. But he's got to be disappointed after that.
Obviously, Adey was probably somewhat of a controversial appointment for the Giants. It wasn't universally approved when it came through, but I think the Giants fans seem to be warming to him a bit more now, especially after the results since the season started.
For those of us who knew Paul Adey way back when, I think it was a case of the heart overruling the head at times. You heard that Paul Adey was coming in, and sort of all of a sudden I'm thinking Jason Clark, I'm thinking Barry Nycar, I'm thinking Eric Toba, I'm thinking exactly what happened in Belfast. Never forgive, never forget. And
12 years, get over it.
No, never. I mean, it seems like the heart overrules the head. But hey, when you look at it, Paul Adey is now the most experienced coach in this league. He went over to Italy, went to Switzerland. He got some really good experience there, and he's come back and he's put together a very well balanced side. Granted, he's basically got the guts of Doug Christensen's side, which got us to within a hair's breadth of the league 3 times. Got us the league once and got us close 2 other times. He's brought in Calvin Elfring, brilliant player going forward. You got Cody Brookwell, an absolute brick wall at the back. Chris Higgins, what a goal tonight. The guy's got absolutely fantastic hands. And yeah, I'd like to think now we've got a Paul Adey who's got the experience to be able to change things up in a game, and I'm actually pretty pleased on the whole. And he's a really nice guy to talk to. After the guy that was the early 20-year-old of me that used to shout and berate from the stands, turns out to be a nice guy when I'm 32. Yeah, that's the way life is. But yeah, no, I think Adey's going to do a good job for us, or at least I hope so.
Okay. And just very, very quickly, other teams, because it's very early. We've not seen many teams. Who's impressed you?
Dundee. We were just talking about that and how organised Dundee have been. They've only got two import D-men and a rake of Brits at the back. Yet they worked so hard last weekend in Belfast when I was over. I thought they were really, really good to watch. And it's a credit to Jeff Hutchins, the fact that we also won tonight with Hutchins not even playing or coaching from the bench. They're going to do well in that Gardner Conference, and fair play to them, because I think the Scottish teams are getting a lot better now. They're really challengers. You lost to Dundee over there. Fife ran you hard as well. I think when we go to Scotland, we're going to get exactly the same thing, and that's exactly what we need in this league. You need a bit of parity. You need a bit of what's the word? When you go into any rink where you don't know you're going to win or not, and I think it's just going to make it more exciting for everybody. On the whole, yeah, Dundee have been the best. Braehead were very organised as well, and we had a cracking game against them last week with Higgins again scoring a fantastic game-winning goal with like 6 seconds left. But yeah, Dundee fantastic, and then tonight I thought were a very even game between our two sides.
Well, Paddy, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Hey, you say that.
I do. I say that every time. I do mean it. I do mean it. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, mate. Always a pleasure.
Cheers. So the thoughts of Patrick Smyth there from A View from the Bridge. Aaron and Paul join me as ever. So Aaron, you were at the game Saturday. Patrick there saying, they dominated the first, and I think that's a fair comment, really.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, and I'd also say that they dominated a bit of the second period as well. I mean, first period from our point of view, very, very sloppy. Very sort of disorganised, looked like a team that, which we are, of, a lot of new people. And I think from that, it was one of those games that we just didn't perform.
I think the thing that amazed me more was the amount of turnovers. I mean, just so many passes, and also in our own defensive zone as well. The Giants were really should have capitalised on the chances we were giving them.
Well, what I would say is if it wasn't for Kowalski, killer, we would have been out of the game, I think, by the end of the first period, to be honest. I think he saved us in that first period and throughout the game, to be honest. I've never seen a Panthers side in my time going give the puck away. Like you say, the turnovers was amazing, to be honest. I've just, from experienced players as well, and you wouldn't expect that, but on the positive side of it, what I would say is, we held in there. Like I say, Killer saved us a lot of the times in the first period, and at the end of the day, if you look at players like Franny and Benny, sort of what I would now say are core members of the team this season.
Without a doubt.
They performed to their capability, and you know what you're going to get with those players. But what I would say is we did win the game, and when you win when you're not playing very well, that's always a positive. I'm pretty sure that we'll probably play a lot better one game and we might lose it. So the fact that we won the game when playing that poorly, I think, is a positive that we have to take out from the weekend.
Yeah. I think to draw another positive out of the game as well, if you look at it, we were outshot 14 shots to 5 in the first period. However, we only then allowed Belfast 12 shots for the rest of the game over the next two periods. So obviously they must have had a bit of a rocket in the first interval, but they managed to tighten up the game, and that's probably what was a key part of the victory.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't let them shoot, they're not going to score, are they? It's a truism, but and that's what we did so well last season. Shutting teams down, not giving them the shots, and we've got to keep doing that. I mean, we did that to an extent once we got going against Sheffield.
Yeah.
Last week, the shots they were getting, a lot of them were from outside. We weren't letting them get in close, and things like that is important. But I think what we've got to stop doing, there's been a lot of talk about the teams not gelling like last year. They're not playing together like last year. Last year was the best we've seen. There were moments that team last year we could go up to a gear that nobody else could touch them. And I think we've had a lot of changes, which is always going to be difficult. I mean, it's no surprise to me that the players who are coming back, Francis, Benedict, we've already talked about Kowalski, is coming into form again. The ones who've been here before are used to it, are the ones who are, who are hitting the form. But, we can't keep, I mean, it's going to happen, it's inevitable, but we can't keep comparing this team to last year's because it's not fair.
No, and I think if you look at last year, we were number one net-minded, number one power play, number one penalty kill, most goals scored, least goals conceded. Yeah. You don't get many teams like that in ice hockey, and great if it happens again. I don't think it will. However, let's move on to some of the goals that were scored, because there were some really good goals. Yeah. I think I want to pick out Chris Higgins' goal for Belfast, the first one, which was just beautiful hands that he showed to beat Kowalski.
I mean, I would say Kowalski really didn't have a chance with that. I'm pretty sure no netminder in the league would have had a chance with that one. Like you say, beautiful soft hands, and they deserve that goal. And I don't think really any Panthers fan, if they were true to themselves would say that they didn't deserve that goal. But I thought our first goal was a lovely, quick pass in, lovely finish. Murphy, no chance. And I thought from that point of view, though, we might kick on. I thought, we've got a goal. We're not playing great, but I thought that might have give the team a bit of confidence, but to build on that as well. But it wasn't to be. But yeah, very good goals.
And I think another moment in the first period I want to pick out, also coming from Belfast, was the pass that I think Michael Effring made to Colin Shields, and just a beautiful three-line splitting pass, tape to tape. And I think Shields will be disappointed that he didn't do better with that. I think he was that surprised he just took the shot as soon as he got over the blue line, and don't think he realised how much time he had.
Sort of panicked a bit, didn't he? He sort of, like you say, was a little bit surprised that he got that pass, and like you say, that was one of the best passes you'll probably see at the NIC this season, to be honest. And he just sort of a bit of shock. He thought somebody was going to be there on his shoulder, but he did have, he probably had another second or two to get a little bit closer and actually test Kowalski a little bit more.
I think another point from the game is scoring so quickly after Belfast had equalised in the third period. Matt Francis again, and of course, as Paddy was referring to in his interview there, it happened the same against Braehead last week. So could this be a bit of an issue for Belfast, that they're losing concentration when they've scored?
It happens. I mean, it happened to us on any number of occasions where we've always had that problem where we go a goal behind, we then start trying too hard. But and teams, it does happen to teams. You think, we got a goal, then you do lose that focus sometimes. I mean, I wasn't at the game on Saturday. There's nobody will be able to tell because I'm just as rambling as normal. But going back to the Sheffield game the other week, and it happened. So I was watching the highlights of the Sheffield Cardiff game. That they scored a goal. And they were celebrating like mad, and yet in both positions they were behind in the game. What's that about? Surely you're behind in the game. You want to get on and try and get even. They scored. I think it made it 4-1, 4-2 against Cardiff, and the bloke who scored it was acting like he'd won the Stanley Cup. But it's all about concentration. It's all about we've scored, but that changes nothing. It only makes them want to come back at you. So they're the times when you've got to be more attentive, almost.
I tell you what, just very quickly, I looked at poor lady as soon as Franny scored that, and he had the face of, it's happened again here, and it is that. But poor lady, he looks suave. He does, you can tell he's been working in Italy. Designer jacket, slick back hair. I tell you what, if I look like that when I'm older, I'll be a happy man.
Yeah.
Surgeon.
Don't put a bet on it, folks. Anyway, so to quickly summarise the game, I think we'd say good to get the points. Not the best performance.
No, I think that's, like I said earlier, it wasn't the best performance, but it's a positive sign when you're playing not playing great and winning. And maybe I don't know, it's the fact that we only had one game a bit of a, could that, I'm not using it as an excuse or anything like that, but does that have an effect of, a bit of, especially with the first period being so poor, is that in the mind of this is our only game, let's go out and leave everything on the ice, but maybe that then tightens the muscles, makes you a little bit stiffer, and you're not as relaxed as possible. But very positive that we won the game in the end, but it could have gone either way, and like I say, if it wasn't for Killer, I think we would have been out of the game after the first period. But I do think Belfast missed Keith.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
I think they missed that, just that little bit of, sort of at those points in the first period. I think Keith might have actually made the team take those chances. I know you can't make somebody score, but I just think he might have said to him, look, this is a great opportunity to put this game to bed, which it was.
And I think his old mate Darryl Lloyd also missed him because he was quiet as a church mouse for the entire game.
His new hair. Where's his thing? He's gone. He's missing his Coco the Clown sort of look. which maybe that's an effect, I don't know. But
well, the old Samson and delay. Thanks, guys.
Hi, I'm Tom Norton and you're watching Cats Whiskers TV.
We're going to look at the rest of the games from the weekend now, and I think we'll start with the Devils Steelers home and home series, as I believe the North Americans call it. So on Saturday night, Steelers, total reversal of their current form, go to Cardiff, put in what has been described as a very, very good performance and come away with a 4-2 win in a very difficult place to play.
Yep, I think I predicted that Sheffield would win that one.
You did. I think you actually predicted away wins for both.
I did.
Well done, you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ladbrokes. You can give me my winnings, please. Yeah, it's a tough place to play, but we say that every time that Devils play at home, don't we? So I would say, though, about that game is Steelers, as I've said before, are under a lot of pressure, but I sometimes think maybe, going away and playing away is a bit easier than playing at home. But the Steelers are bound to get a result at some time. Devils, I believe it was the first game back for their number one netminder, Lacosta. Maybe a little bit of rust there. You can train all you want, but put them in a real match, and it's different, isn't it? But I think they were always going to be tight games, those ones as well. So no surprise really to me that Steelers won that close game. Yeah, I mean, it's a good result. Let's be honest. It is a good result for the Steelers, but when you look at the reverse fixture the next day, cancels each other out, don't it? So it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
I mean, I had to deal with my other half coming back from that game last night. She wasn't happy, bless her. Basically, but she was honest, and she says if you only play for 20 minutes, then you're going to get beaten. And I think from looking at the highlights that were posted online today, that's exactly the case.
It is. I mean, it looked like a case of defence as being optional at times. Some of the Cardiff goals were, they were just flying in from anywhere, and yet, Cardiff themselves only scored 4. Where you looked at it and you thought, they could have outpulled the way they were defending. They weren't getting close to the man, and Cardiff were at times, just judging from the highlights, just as guilty. I mean, I think it's the third or second Steelers goal. The Steelers have got a player right in front of Lacosta, and nobody's moving him out of the way. First rule of hockey, or one of the many first rules of hockey, is you don't let somebody stand in your crease.
Clear him out.
I mean, it made me yearn for the days of Pete Graham up in Whitley. Nobody had stood in front of him for that long, I tell you. Not if they wanted the kidneys, anyway.
Of course, I think one of the pleasing things for the Sheffield fans this weekend was finally it seemed Robert Dow turned up to the party after a month. I did see him described by someone as he's the best British player in the league. Not this season, he isn't so far. I think that belongs to Robert Lakovic, but that's another debate.
Next week's hot topic.
But I mean. I would guess he's on not an inconsiderable amount of money each week, so it's about time he sort of paid back some of those wages, really.
That's not good.
Money.
It's true.
Yeah, but money. People play for the hockey. They play for the love of the game, as I said last week.
He's on 200 quid less than he'd got from us.
Loves it in Sheffield. Loves it.
I don't know. I mean, he's been away for a season. Takes every league is different, aren't they, to be honest? So does it take a bit of time to gel back into the elite league? I don't know, I'm not saying that, but what I would say is, I mean, just quickly going on, it was regarding Sunday's fixture and the reverse fixture. I saw a tweet from Bob Westerdale, and he said, I mean this isn't word for word, but it was something like, if Steelers hockey play like they have done for the first 20 minutes, then they'd be champions, every game they'd be champions by Christmas. So they obviously had a very good 20 minutes, but then that goes back to your missus's words of if you only turn up for 20 minutes. But I don't know. I mean, look, you guys have said that Steelers have got a very good team on paper. So
they're not proving it on the ice. Though.
Well, yes, but this is my point. You know, you can have a good team on paper, but that don't mean diddly squat when it comes to actually being on ice, and you have to take in more into account than just what it looks like on paper. But I would say, from a Steelers' point of view, is you got that result on a Saturday in the BBT. Coming home, you would have wanted to follow that up with a good 60-minute performance at home, and they didn't do that, unfortunately.
You always want to win your home games, don't you? Because that's the one the majority of your fans see.
Well, they're the money spinners, aren't they?
Yeah,
That's what brings the cash.
Yeah, but you build a team, or you should build a team round playing at home. And, you know, I've seen comments from Mr. Claringbowl, who was ever so slightly upset last week.
Yes.
You know, about them being almost scared to play at home, and he's not the only their fans that's unhappy. I mean, looking at that, Liam McCausland's not happy either.
He's put. I think this refers to some of their injury problems as well. Bodies made of glass. Four regular players out, 3 of which are D-men. Cone Myers and.
Which Myers might need surgery.
Sorry?
Myers might need surgery.
Sorry, Langley, not Surrey. Yeah, no, that'll be bad news if he does, because if it's his shoulder again.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think nobody knows what it is, do they?
They're not saying, which I think is fair enough. You don't want to. Yeah. But he's put bodies made of glass, obvious problems with the D, and I think that the highlights showed that. Okay, we'll move on to Fife against Clan. Interesting game, 2-1.
Tough game.
Very good winning goal that I saw online, but that wasn't the talking point from the game. Obviously, Clan's Chris Frank of Sheffield last season, if you remember, 5-match ban for a headbutt. Well, it seems Murray Hansen was at the match, so there was a very quick decision. It actually came out on Saturday night, Sunday morning. So very quick decision on that one. And to be honest, you can't really argue with that. Headbutt's got to get that sort of ban.
If he headbutt, there's no place for headbutting in any sport that I can think of, with the possible exception of football. That doesn't really count. But there's no. If he did it, there is no excuse for it.
Well, it seems he did. I mean, the match video was reviewed and he saw it at the time. So,
credit to Brayhead, they're not trying to spin anything out of this. We've seen players turn up, do something bad. I'm not looking at you, Jody Lehman. Not even twice. And then the team spins. Oh, they were telling us how many trophies they'd won. No, they weren't. They've basically, they've not really said much about it at all, which is probably the best way to deal with it. Yeah, he's got his ban, he deserves it. It was against Fife against a lot of people picking bans against Fife. What's going on there? But I mean, is that because Scottish referees? Murray Hansen obviously lives in Scotland. He's going to be seeing more games in Scotland. Are the referees refereeing a bit better because they know Murray's in the house?
Well, you would expect.
That's the week after next.
Of course, our old mate Random Pesh sent in a tweet. I heard Matt Nickerson was going on Britain's Got Talent. He played Chris Frank like a fiddle and got the tune he wanted. Controversial. Controversial indeed from Random Pesh there. I think we'll leave that one, that one at that. But 2-1, a good result for Fife.
What I would say is, though, a lot of I've seen a lot of Brayhead fans, and they've not complained really. To be honest, they've said if it's clear and you can see it, then he deserves a 5 ban. Get on with it, sort of thing, and that's fair enough. And that's quite, I think going back to what Paul says, that's sort of it relates back to how the club have dealt with it. They've not moaned about it, they've not tried to appeal it or whatever. They've gone fair enough. You did it. You get the ban.
And sorry.
No, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was saying the result itself, 5-2-1. They've been on the end of two reverses on close score lines the previous 2 Saturdays, and now they come and finally win a close one themselves. So I think that's good for them.
It shows how things balance out. I mean, they were moaning, and rightly so, about that penalty shot at the end of our game against them. But these things do balance themselves out. Over a season, over as many years as us and Fife have been going, But again, going back to Frank, he misses a game against us. Keith did, Frank did. Have we bought a referee as well as the league?
Don't start that. Don't start that. We'll move swiftly on. Dundee Stars in the Challenge Cup game on Saturday, a 6-2 victory against the Edinburgh Capitals. Probably not too much of a shock considering the form that Dundee are in, but they keep rolling on.
They do. Like you just said, you wouldn't have really bet against Dundee on that one. A home game, nothing's ever a given in sport, but that was probably as close to a given as possible. But they could have maybe in their own heads thought 2-3 goals might be enough. 6 goals, it's a bit of confidence as well. It keeps the score sheet ticking over, and it was just another good game for them, really.
Of course, they're missing. They're missing Brock McPherson, who's injured, and of course Jeff Hutchins, who got a 4-game ban for a check to the head in the Caps game last week. So, I think that probably put paid to them on Sunday night when they played down in Coventry. Coventry winning 6-2 there. Stars losing, still top of the league, but Blazers starting to look strong.
There's always that 5-6 games unbeaten.
They're starting to put on a real roll.
Again, you build a team. That's what we've all been to Coventry. We know what it's like. You build a team to go and play in there, don't you? Play and they get the fans going. They're worth an extra goal to trot out another cliche. It's a long journey for Stars as well. Coventry again didn't play the night before, so they've not got that. The lack of bodies is going to. It's going to take its toll, but we'll just see if Stars can keep going. Do what we did last season. Every time we lost a game, we bounced back. See how they react to it.
Yeah, just Stuart Coles, Stu the Badger, obviously does some interviews.
I sent a tweet about are they genuine title contenders?
And he's just come back saying right now yes, but so are 5 or 6 other teams. Next month is an all-in conference, so we'll know for sure soon. And that's pretty much like last season as well, wasn't there, for the Panthers? I can't remember, was it November? Was it January? Sorry, where all games was all in conference, and that's, to be honest, that's where you're going to win or lose the title, really, against your rivals. And what I would say about the Blazers, I think they've got a better netminder this season. I think they've improved there, and they've got some good attacking players there who know where the goal is. Yeah. And going back to, just touching on what Paul said about, you build a team for home. I can't see many teams, including the conference teams that are in our conference, go into Blaze and wiping them off the floor there. I think that is going to be a tough place to play this season, and I think they are going to be a force to be reckoned with this season as well overall.
And of course, Ryan Grenade scored another hat-trick. He's on top form at the moment, so I think they are a team who's certainly worth keeping an eye on. Looking at the other games that took place on Sunday night. Unfortunately for Caps again, another 7-0 drubbing at home by the Clan. Yeah. Not good for them. However, they did have some good news last night with the news that Michael Dobron is returning to the club after it hasn't worked out in France for him. So that is a big signing for them. Probably one of the best defensemen that they've had at the Capitals. So that should give them a boost.
It's a lot of pressure though, isn't it? It's a lot of pressure on one guy to come in after their start. You can't, just because they've re-signed him, and granted he did very well for them last season and is a quality player for their team. It's a lot of pressure to just say that just because they've re-signed him that everything's going to be gravy.
But with the same token, they needed somebody. You've shipped 13 goals this weekend and you've scored 2. You need to do something.
And I got a tweet from Ranger Bow 13, Caps fan, who's just basically says Dobron is the best Caps player ever, probably. Hedging your bets there, Ranger. Hedging your bets. But there you go. So the final game of the weekend was in Hull, a league game with Giants after disappointment against us on Saturday night. we always say it, difficult place to play.
Yeah, so versatile.
So versatile. But, as we say, we never ever know which Hull team is going to turn up, do we? And it seems that Giants went 2-0 up, we're cruising a bit. And Hull came back 2-2, Giants win it in the last few minutes. So, it's... Hull seem to be on the wrong end of some very, very close scorelines at the minute.
And you've got to wonder why that is. I mean, is it the bench? Is it conditioning? Is it a lack of discipline, perhaps? All those things. And concentration, and all those things will tell over the time. But now we've got a Hull correspondent. We'll be able to find out.
Well, we will. Yes, we will. We will indeed. A couple of tweets here from Hull fans after I asked can they put a winning streak together based on what they've seen so far. Mark Lang, who I believe has tweeted in before, he says, with a non-existent power play and a rather lightweight defence, I don't think we can, but the forwards look good. Hashtag shoot.
Nice to end on a positive after dragging it down there.
And Dave Smith, who will be known to most people as Scrappy on the various forums around the country, in my opinion, we could get a streak of 2 games max. Our D is very weak, which is sort of going back to what Mark said as well. Forwards are good, to be honest. So it sounds...
streak, though, is it really 2 games?
Yeah. No, well, that's what he's saying. He's saying a streak of 2 games max, But it's the same thing. Weak D, but good forwards, and I think that's probably because they are scoring quite a few goals.
Yeah, but in this league, you can't. I mean, just go in total reverse. Look how we won the league last season. It was built on a strong defence that didn't give away goals. There's no point. Not many teams in any sport can afford to take the mentality of we will score more goals than what we will let in, because there's only so many games that's going to happen. A lot of successful teams in any sport, and coaches, they build from the back. You sort your defence out, you sort your netminder, and then you go and get your forwards. And maybe that's what they need to have a look at in Hull. Maybe we all know, your Tendlers, they're going to get your goals, but because as well it adds pressure to the. You're making those guys in their head they've got to score. I've got to score goals because we're going to let in, and you can't do that. You can't play under that pressure every time you put a shirt on.
And especially as I think Hull have got certainly one of the better British netminders in Ben Bounds. He's starting several games, but he's a good netminder, and I don't think he can certainly be blamed for where they are. Okay.
No, exactly.
Well, of course. So that ends the weekend, and the weekend ended with Dundee still top of the league. Panthers, I think, were 3rd. Belfast second. So it's still very close, but still very, very early days. A hot topic this week is Elite League webcasts and the various clubs that do them. Do you think they're good value, or do you think they're a bit of a rip-off? Thanks to everyone who tweeted in. We've got loads of tweets through, so we'll try and get through as many as we can. Paul, you've got one there?
Yeah, I've got one from Greg Crooks. They're too much for the low-quality, shaky reliability, and they're often too overly biased to the home support. And I think he's got a point, especially with that... second point there, Greg, but because, and he's saying that it's a frustrating experience. I think a lot of people think that, but the idea of the webcast surely is to be broadcast to the people, the away fans mainly, who can't make it. So if you've got a very biased couple of home commentators, surely that's going to put people off.
Possibly so. I mean, I think one webcast I do want to mention, and I've actually never watched it, but I've heard lots of good reports about it, is the Hull webcast. You've seen? You said because they've got
Nice thing back to that, eh? See how
I didn't mention it. But
spoon-fed that one.
In all seriousness, I mean that was a huge revenue stream for them last season, and it made them quite a lot of cash. And I think they black out the whole area, so you can't actually get it in the whole area. But also their commentator Jonathan Fernley, very good commentator, unbiased, knows his stuff, learns his stats. I mean, I've worked with him before on Steel Night Live, and he actually studies the stats and everything. Shut up. But I think that's an example of when a webcast can work and work well.
Yeah, I agree. It's sort of where we fall down. You know, we don't do no research. We don't have a very good lead presenter. See,
the past couple of weeks. The past couple of weeks.
Now, let's not get personal. But no, I think it's a very good topic to talk about. I think, you know, we were right in bringing it up this week. My personal opinion is I think £8 is a lot of money for the quality and the issues that you get. And I would say it's more the issues than you get than the quality. I mean, what I would say is that, first of all, the people that are offering these webcasts, fair play to them. They're putting it out there, and, you know, like Paul says, they are offering mainly the away fans an opportunity to see their team in a game that they wouldn't normally see. So from that point of view, you have to say fair play to them. But then I go back to my original point of, is £8 a little bit too expensive for that quality? So, I don't know.
Probably on that, Tom Cramner tweeted in, webcasts are a rip-off at £8 a game, especially considering the value offered by NHL Game Centre. Now, I know you wanted to counter that one.
You can't compare the two. You know, how many people worldwide, or even just in Canada, are tuning in to watch those NHL games? So they can charge it's 34 quid for a whole season or something like that.
It was last season, I think, because of the lockout. I think it's back. It's about £99 normally.
But the same argument still stands. They can defray the costs over a wider number of people, which brings the price to the consumer down. You know, we haven't got that in this country.
And I suppose if you look at the NHL, the money that they've got backing them, it is going to bring that down. So do you feel that's a bit of a moot point in this debate?
Well, I get what Paul's saying, but still, you know, £8 to £35 last time, and even £99, which it usually is. Granted, it was lockout, like you said, last season. Not, you know, you're talking what, 12, just over 12 games. The value of a season for NHL, and I don't know. I mean, this is just my own personal view, and from a business point of view, in my eyes, if it was me, I would start it a little bit cheaper, get the views on board, build that fan base, get it right first of all, and then you slowly increase the revenue, because you've got your fan base, you've got it, and people know it's worth. People will pay money if the quality is there. You know, I don't think anybody would complain about paying £8 if it never stopped, it never skipped, it never, you know, the quality never cut out, or it was high definition quality. I think that is the main issue here. It's the fact of it's the money against quality. It's not the fact that they're having to pay £8. So I think, but when, you know, the NHL thing, I mean, in my eyes, you can compare the two. They're the same sports. Yes, of course. You know, the NHL is freaking miles away from, you know, elite league standard. But if you compare the two, I think it's very unfair. And, you know, just a few tweets just while I scroll down here. I mean, just let's talk about Ken Abbott, sorry, just quickly. Crazy Ken's.
Yeah, that's...
It's up here. I do apologise. I'll not be buying any this season. If it's not the poor webcast quality, it's the commentators that don't know what they're doing. So, you know, maybe commentators is another thing that has to be said. But
I think he could be on about the. I think he's probably referring to Belfast there, which I believe that's now been solved. Aaron Murphy is now the commentator from ESPN.
Yeah.
So actually a professional commentator. So that's automatically going to improve that service.
Who commentated on the Great Britain games just a few months ago. So, but just another one. Just Dave Spears spent £8 on Edinburgh Cats webcast a couple of weeks ago. Total disaster. No sound or vision. Got refund. Will not bother again. I mean, on that, you know, to say you got a refund, that's fair play. And I do think, you know, let's stand up for these. I'm all for standing up for people. You know, last week I stood up for referees. This week I'm going to stand up a little bit.
Again.
No, I'm not ranting again. But somebody in Block 15 will be happy if I do rant again. Revolution. But, you know, they are offering a service that, you know, anybody can, like an armchair, you know, they call armchair fans, you know, can sit and moan about it, but at least these people are offering that system. And I mean, maybe the wider question is, as a league, do we have to look at something maybe a little bit on, sorting it out from a league point of view,
Well,
not just rely
I
on
think,
individual teams?
British basketball, they bought out a sort of game centre type thing. Now, they're far fan base wise and probably venue wise far smaller than the elite. Certainly the elite league, probably even smaller than the EPL, you would say. But they're managing to bring together a service that offers every game to all the fans. Why can't we do the same?
Well, they were put in a similar situation to British ice hockey's currently in. Sky aren't showing it, because like ice hockey to Sky, basketball, small potatoes. So
It's big orange balls. Carry on.
I'll ask you this.
I mean,
I was doing so well then.
I mean,
you uttered it.
I think that's a very good. That is the whole point of other sports which haven't got the fan base and don't get the amount of people and the coverage that ice hockey gets in this country. And you say, well, why can they do it, but we can't? I don't want to say too much on that, but it's just a simple sort of business plan, really, and having the people in the right positions that want to do that. I'm pretty sure, and I don't know, it's just my personal view, but you could set up that from a league point of view.
Well, in your line of work, you work in media, you work television, you used to produce this show. How easy would it be to set something like up? Because obviously there's going to be a lot of technology involved.
Yeah.
How easy would it be? Or probably better, how difficult would it be to do?
Well, first of all, you would have to get every team on board. There's no point in offering webcasts and one team not being involved in it.
So I mean, we know that's going to rule the Panthers out from what Gary Moran said to us last year. So
exactly. So I mean, from a board point of view, I mean, and I'm just saying that this is my own personal view, so I don't want to get sued by anybody. So I'll say allegedly straight away. I think that covers me. But no, first of all, you'd have to get every team on board. It would cost money. It would cost money to do, because you would have to get, if we're talking webcasting, you were going to offer that out as a league service. There's no point doing it and it being poor quality, because then that reflects on the league.
It's got to be reliable.
It's got to be reliable, and so that is going to cost money. You're then realistically, you're going to have to, from every team, you're going to have to get some sort of media organisation. Maybe in each individual town that will film the games, or from a league point of view, you employ, just a big team basically, and wherever that's based, whether it's Birmingham, London, Manchester, Edinburgh, wherever, they have to travel to all the games.
And that bumps the price up. That's the problem with that.
Yeah, again, that's back to money, but I mean, it's doable. It's doable, but then from a why aren't they doing that now? Maybe first of all, you'd do market research and you'd get out there and say, would you buy it? If the quality was not even maybe HD, but it was good quality, multi-cameraed.
Just working all the way through. That's all people are asking for.
I mean, I'm quite happy to pay £8. I mean, look at it.
I'm quite happy to come round your house and watch it then.
I know you are. And you invariably do.
I bring the crisps.
You bring the beer. But in all seriousness, £8, I think is decent value. You look at this weekend, we're playing in Coventry. I will probably get the webcast at £8. That saves me the £17-18 it is for a ticket, plus the probably £10-15 in petrol.
And that's part of the argument why it's £8. It's got to be priced at a point where it's making the decision. Yeah, but it's also making the decision to go difficult. So if it was a couple of quid, which you could argue that's all it's worth, because of the problems, people go, it's a couple of quid, but it's £8. For a tenner more, I could go and watch it. So it's got to be, especially when you're talking about the distances, like from Nottingham to Coventry, and I think that's part of the problem that we've got here in Nottingham, is that because we're in the centre of the country, compared to, let's say, going from Cardiff to Dundee, some of our distances are quite short. So, you've got that, well, I might as well go argument. I don't think that's the argument that we're working against, and I don't think the argument we're using here is right. Because, there's a lot of saying, if somebody gets the webcast, that's £7 they've lost. But what about the people who are never going to go in the first place? I can't get to either of the Scottish weekends this year, but I'll probably order the webcast from Edinburgh. So that's not £7 they've lost on a ticket. That's £8 they've made because I wasn't going.
I mean, I think on this, it is a difference of opinion, and if you watch the Gary Moran interview, there are points on that which a webcast will never repeat going to a game. You will not get the same atmosphere as what I think even if you can watch a football game on Sky, and it still doesn't. It's not the same as being there because of the atmosphere. You don't get the atmosphere, you don't get the feeling of going to the game. So when Paul says, it's £8, a ticket is £16, that does leave you in a quandary of, do you know what? Do I pay the extra £8
it's close enough to make you think?
Yeah, exactly, it is. But I also understand the fact of it doesn't. And Gary's point on that is it doesn't replicate being in the game. So they're fully within their rights of concentrating on getting people in the arena. But what I would say is, just looking on Saturday's game, I wouldn't say there was any more than 12 Belfast fans in the NIC on Saturday night. But I'm pretty damn sure that you would have got 20, 30. I mean, I don't know what.
Well, you'd probably got a couple of hundred watching the webcast easily. I would have thought.
So in that case, is the argument there to say that the Panthers lost money that night? I don't know. Everything is there is right. There's right in people saying that the webcasts aren't worth the money and aren't from a club point of view aren't worth it. But then there's others. There is fully justified reasons why for some teams like the Hulls that it is worth it. It's I don't know. It's a tough one really.
Talking about Hull, one of the things we haven't touched on is what I believe they do, which is having essentially a blackout, an exclusion zone. So if the address you log in from is near, within an area around Hull, and I think it's a fairly decent area. That you can't sign up because you then haven't got the choice. If you want to see the hockey, you've got to go down to the game.
Well, I tell you what, shall we make a pact? I'm going to get the game on Sunday. If you boys want to come round and watch it, and we can film it.
Crisp or not?
I was just going to say to be honest, I just come here on a Monday night. I don't really want to see our side of this, to be honest.
We don't pay extra.
I don't know. Will beer be provided?
No, you might have to bring that. But I don't know. We'll see.
He drinks Budweiser at home. I'm bringing me own.
I'll Skype him. Carry on though. Go on. What?
Yeah. So we'll watch the webcast, and we can sort of review it as we're watching it. It can be a feature on next week's show. Paul Wheeler, no pressure on you there.
No, it's a good idea.
If we're honest, though, they're in. So it's the real.
Well, true.
It's a good idea. I mean, I'm happy for that. To be honest,
Okay. Well, look out for that next week.
I'm Rob Blackwich and you're watching Cats Whiskers TV.
So we're going to look ahead to the weekend games now, starting on Saturday. I think the one that jumps out there, Panthers against Clan. Ryan Finnerty bringing his new team down to the NIC. Should be a good game because they're a decent side, the Clan, from what I've seen this season.
Yep, it should be a good game, but I think Paul mentioned it earlier on. Frank missing, that sort of, I won't say enforcer, but somebody that's willing to stick up for his teammates. It'll be interesting, with Finnerty first game against the Panthers. What has he learned from last season? Obviously playing so many games against us as the Steelers coach compared to what he will play against us, as the Clan coach. In that one though, there's no real pressure on the Clan, is there? Realistically, everybody will be expecting the Panthers to win that one. So from that point of view, tied into the Finity kind of the new Finity within Clan, I think that'll be a closer game than what maybe some people will think.
Certainly closer than last season.
Yeah.
I mean, don't forget as well, you got the return of Kevin Bergin.
Yeah.
Who, he's going to get one over on us. But I mean, I think I can't see the goalie leaving halfway through the game again.
No, I mean, from what I say, I saw him last week, and they've got very good goalie. They're very good netminder, very organised defence. So I think they'll make it tough for us on Saturday.
I'll probably go overtime or penalties Panthers, to be honest.
I think we'll squeak a narrow in.
Yeah, I'd go for you. I think
I'm not confident. Not said that yet.
Wow, Jesus. That's come back.
One or two goals, I think. Other one, Devils against Belfast at the Big Blue Tent. That has a potential to be a humdinger.
Certainly does. And if I'm right in thinking, is Keith still banned for that one? Is that his last?
I think
that's his last.
I think that's his last game.
Last game, innit, missing.
Second to last game.
Yeah. I'm going to go Devils win for that one. To be honest, I think they lost obviously against Sheffield the weekend just gone in the old BBT. I think they'll be looking for a response, well, a home response, put it that way. Back on the back of a good result in Sheffield, I quite fancy Devils to come out of the traps with that one and maybe get 2 goals or something up in the first period. It's still a tight game, but I fancy a Devils win.
I mean, Lacosta, a couple of games back, you've seen the numbers, he's got the quality, is this time's come to shine it, but, there's some other good games out there. I mean, Hull Dundee. Well,
that's an interesting game, I think. You know what, I'm going to go for a Hull win in that one,
I agree.
Well, who knows? Like we were saying before, the only thing consistent about Hull is their inconsistency.
Yeah, I believe our new Hull correspondent is at that game as well.
Well, he who knows? He says he's going to me, but something shiny might just distract him, and off he goes.
Make him say a team. Come on, let's pick our results out. Come on.
Go on,
Blaze against Sheffield then.
It's at the arena. So yeah, Steelers Blaze Challenge Cup game at the arena. I've got to go for Blaze on the form that Sheffield's in and the form that Blaze in. You have to go for a Blaze win in that game, and actually take return to the arena, of course.
Yeah, very true. Not sure I agree though.
Make him say a team.
I don't sound like that, do I? Jesus. I think that'll be tight actually, because as much as I'm not loving the Steelers team this season.
Why?
Well, yeah, true. I think they're gonna click at some point. Whether I don't personally think they'll click as well as everybody, you two were saying at the start of the season, but you can't back it up now. You said they'd win the league, so whatever.
I also pointed out you can't make predictions this early in the season because it's pointless.
Well, there you go. I think that'll be quite. I think that would, obviously regarding the Panthers game. But if I was going to go to a game, that would be a game that I'd go to. I can see a bit of a Spencer Olsen, bit of a scrap there. I can see. I think that'll be a tasty game. Actually, I think there'll be a.
I think talking about Spencer Olsen, I think it's time for the people on Sheffield's team to step up. And that's the sort of game that they want to come out and prove it. They've been missing so far. It's time to say, we're here. This is what we're going to do about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Finally on Saturday, 5 caps, and that's no love lost between those two.
It's going to be a good atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, I tell you what, he's going to be electric in that barn. Absolutely electric. I think I've got to go for a 5 win there.
And what I would say is, though, that's what hockey's about, though, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Local rivalry, good old small barn. Real raucous. That's what we want. But that's every week in 5.
Well, yeah, exactly. It is. But that's what we want. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not knocking it.
That's what we want in this. That's what we want in this sport. Those are the type of you can have. Obviously, it's not compared to a Panthers Sheffield, but they're But
I tell you what, I bet more atmosphere
for a 5 caps. Fans. That probably is there. Sheffield Panthers game. So fair play. That's going to be, and I don't think it'll be as easy as maybe Fife fans and some people might think. I think Caps might put up a bit of a fight there. I would say overall Fife win, but I don't think you'll be looking at many goals.
If there's a game where Caps are going to want to put a performance in against the local rivals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to Sunday. So we've got Caps home to the Devils. Could Bush Lakes play a part there?
They could. I mean, it's a heck of a long way. I mean, it's a long way from here, so and this
very
from
long way from Cardiff.
Yeah, but and there are not been many travelling spots. They'll all be on the webcast.
Stars against Hull, so another home and home series, I believe, between Hull and
Get
Dundee.
this one right, because I got the Panthers Sheffield one right. Didn't I?
Go on then.
Not Panthers Sheffield, sorry, Cardiff Sheffield. I'm gonna say.
You bought a new watch.
Hull. I'm going to say a Hull double win.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I can't agree with that. I think Stars will win at home.
Whether you agree with it or not, it's just my personal view. You asked me the question, I answered it. Yeah.
Just to throw something in the mix, though, Stars have got to travel all the way down to Hull and back. Hull have only got to make one journey. Is that going to have an effect?
And the Stars have got to lose at some point at home.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, that's good.
Let's be honest. Knowing the Elite League and knowing everybody's
knowing the way that the results have been going this season so far.
The most consistent, inconsistent team will probably go and beat them.
Well, there you go. So you're going to all wins. I think I'll go for the home team each night on that one. And then finally, Blaze against Panthers. We mentioned it. There'll be a webcast. Indeed, a tough game. I think it depends how difficult a game each team gets on Saturday. Steelers Blaze. That will probably be a humdinger, I'm expecting.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Panthers Clan, maybe not as much. I don't know. I mean, you can never tell. But Blaze, stunning form at the minute.
Yeah.
Panthers, good form, only lost once, but probably not as cohesive as they could be.
I think what I would say on that is, we talk about obviously the game before, the night before, is I wonder what penalties will come from the Steelers Blaze game.
Yeah, you never know, do you?
Is there going to be any match penalties given? I'd be. It wouldn't surprise me if there were. If there weren't, sorry. Yeah. So I wonder whether there'll be depleted sides come the Sunday. But we struggled at times in the Sky Dome last season. On the odd one occasion, on the odd couple occasions.
I think that game we actually covered, wasn't it? That three.
That was the only time we lost there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was. But they gave us a
good shoo-in, and I don't know. But on the flip side of that is a lot of new players. A lot of these American players and the Canadian hockey players that have played in the AHL and the CHL and stuff like that is. They like the smaller rinks. They like the Cardiff, they like the Coventries. So, I don't know. Again, I think that's going to be a humdinger. And you're talking about the webcast. I might go to that.
Ooh.
Throw our plan right into it.
Well, sorry.
They're talking about it.
Well, you could go. We could throw over live. No, maybe not. No. Right, so
you're on the phone.
So there we go. We will, of course, be looking back at those games in next week's show. But until then, thanks for watching once again, and we'll see you next week.